All right. Hey, hello there, everyone. This is Rob with the Advisor's Edge podcast. We are live at NAPFA 2025. This is our amazing conference, and I have two absolutely amazing people with me. As you know, we knock it out of the park with our guests. Today is no exception. We have Brent Burns from Asset Dedication. Did I get that right, Brent?
You did.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So, guys, we want to fill you in on some of the things. We're going to talk about what we're doing, what these two guys are doing together, but we also want to share some value with all of our audience and listeners and watchers. You guys are out there watching us, but today we are live. We're doing something totally cool, we've never done this before, Chad.
No, it's a first. We'll get good.
We're going to see
Hopefully
how
we're
well
good
we
now.
do. So, all right. So guys, introduce yourself, Brent, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Share a little bit about what you do, the problems you help to solve, and what cool things you two guys are working on.
Right. Well, actually, I'll let you talk about the cool things that we're doing because I think you've really spearheaded and taken what we're doing, how we can work with our clients, the firms that we work with, and really dovetail on the insurance side. But what we're Asset Dedication is a turnkey asset management platform, which is basically an outsource investment platform for financial planners. So we work exclusively with financial planners. We're really tax sensitive. We do all of the investments, but we also do a lot of back office things. So billing, reporting, a lot of compliance work, getting things ready for the ADV. And what we're trying to do is take the investment side so that the planners can focus on the planning side, working with their clients and really doing that full, deep, comprehensive financial planning work. And then partnering with us to engineer the portfolio to match up whatever it is that they're doing on the financial plan. And every financial plan is different. So what we're really good at is taking the existing holdings, working around them and making a custom portfolio for each client. But we've figured out a way to scale the process. So we don't scale the portfolios. Typically TAMPs are model marketplaces where you're buying the 60-40 portfolio. And everybody gets a 60-40 or a 50-50 or whatever it is. And for us, it's much more customized at the account level, and particularly as it comes to taxes.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is you're giving financial advisors their time back by taking that off their plate.
Part of
and
that.
helping them. What makes you guys different? Like, what problems are you solving differently than others who are in that space?
So a couple of things that we do. One, we started, we did a research project that turned into a book, and we're super creative. Our book's called Asset Dedication, company's called Asset Dedication. But what we did is, where we first started was looking at the retirement income and trying to solve for creating a paycheck in the way that pension funds do. So we use individual bonds and we time them out to spending needs. And we can get really granular on that. So you need this much coming out of a taxable account and this much coming out of qualified because you're deferring Social Security, doing Roth conversions and all of that. And we're kind of best known for that. And then we've added in a few more sort of, they're new now. We've been doing it for a long time, but now the term is out there, which is direct index. So it's a tax managed portfolio where we're trying to just take advantage of the times when the markets go down. Because it's, in our view, the markets will go down all the time and they're going to recover. We want to stay invested, but maybe we can take some tax advantages out of that. And so we want to harvest those in a very sort of planned out manner. And so things that we're able to do, we're able to do that every day. We're able to go in and tax loss harvest every day. Whereas the planners, if they're doing it themselves, maybe they've got a meeting, a bunch of client meetings, but the markets are on fire, and finding the time to do both of those things gets really challenging. And we want to be able to make sure that the clients are all getting the same experience and that it's all happening when they need it to happen.
Yeah, love it. And you guys are able to scale that.
We can.
Before you jump in here, I have actually something I want to talk about.
You can see I'm ready to jump.
Well, I know I can see that. I want to talk about this because this is part of my jam. I love partnerships. I love where we can connect people and build really high quality relationships and partnerships so that you guys, all of your customers can benefit from the cool things that you guys are working on. So why don't you share a little bit of, Chad, I'll give you the springboard here to talk a little bit about how you two guys met and the cool things that you're working on together to benefit and to add value to your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. As well, we met.
At a conference like
at
this.
a conference like this.
Yeah.
I think a couple of years we're just sitting right beside each other. And you know how it is at conferences. There's these downtimes and you just start chatting and talking about whatever. And so it was real cool. We hit it off. We're getting along. And then we start talking about, how they're serving clients, how we're serving clients, comparing and contrasting. And really what it is, the way I see it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but really what you're doing is you're giving time back to the advisors so they can do where they add the most value, which is really that direct interaction, almost a coaching,
that comprehensive financial plan.
What
They're really being able to dig into that
what they
and create
really,
value.
really need.
Right.
And there's value there.
Yeah.
And the good thing is in the last 10 years, people are starting to recognize the difference more.
Yes.
Which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. Like I often say, I don't know what financial planning is, but I know what it is when I see it.
Right.
And when clients really experience that comprehensive financial plan, and they're wondering like, geez, I came in, I talked to my financial planner, and we didn't talk about investments yet. We've been talking about like what I want to do and when I want to do it and what the tax situations are and educational planning and when I want to retire. And then, oh, by the way, we'll get to the investments, but we're not going to come out of the gate talking about investments because we need to know what you want to do with your money first.
Right. And then, of course, when you get to the asset part of it, there's a whole host of things that you're doing when you're doing it really, really well.
Yeah.
Not just throwing them into some might say silly asset mix or whatever. So that was fascinating. And as we were digging into that, what occurred to me is I said, look, when we're looking at risk, so if you go full in, and let's say pretend I'm an advisor, and I say, you guys do what you do so great, I'm just going to hand that part of the work over to you.
Right.
And so I can build where I'm good at.
Right. So we take on the trading.
Right.
And you don't have to touch that anymore.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. From a risk standpoint, we've just bifurcated a large majority of that risk.
Yep.
Okay. We're sitting there thinking, there's got to be a way to simplify so you get more appropriate insurance coverage given the role that you're playing.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
And really tighten that relationship. Because here's the thing. We want more than anything those that we're working with to look good for their clients, right? So we're the folks behind the scenes. You are too a little bit.
We are too, yeah.
But so that makes it, maybe that's why we connected so well. But really, if we can help, like we're working with a compliance firm, if the compliance firm looks good to their RIAs, we win and they win. And the client wins. Same thing here.
Yep.
And we said, the two risks difference, there's this big difference between the trade risk and the client direct interface risk.
Relationship.
The relationship risk, or, and there's a little bit of trade risk for the person that's running the relationship because there can be a miscommunication there, but it's a lot smaller because you guys are doing all the trading and the rebalancing.
And we built out a platform that really specifies and documents it well. So we can specify that. So we're not, the ambiguities go away.
That's right.
So that's actually a really interesting question because I'm obviously a nerdy insurance guy.
Yeah.
And risk management. I would call myself an expert because that's my entire 20-year career. So would you guys agree that when you're taking a certain thing off of the financial advisor's plate and having a specialist, an expert who does what they do world class, and you bring them together and takes that off the advisor's plate, does that increase or lower the risk as far as mistakes that might happen or oversights or things that might get missed?
Yeah, so I really think it lowers the risk, okay? But from a mathematical standpoint, it just shifts the risk.
Got it.
Okay, so I say lowers the risk because when you have dedicated individuals who know their work really, really well, the likelihood that they're making a mistake goes down. So it should lower the risk. And we can see it by looking at the loss runs. So it's a little bit maybe too far under the hood.
Wait. That's interesting. So anybody who doesn't understand what is a loss run is basically a report of claims.
Right. Right.
Showing there's hey, here's what happened in these different years, potentially if there was any claims.
Right.
Whether they're open or closed claims, right? I call that when bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you guys seeing a direct correlation between working with an expert like asset dedication who are working with the advisors? Does that lower their risk profile and actually have an impact on potential claims?
It should. Okay. And it does, because we can look at the loss runs for asset dedication,
Got it.
which are low. Okay. So to understand the volume here, the trade error risk is high volume, fairly low cost. So asset dedication, a smart group of guys, individuals that have figured out how to do it with an even lower threshold, because it would be hard for you to pay for
Right.
insurance if you had a lot of losses.
Correct. Right. Right. And,
so,
we built out the technology. That's part of what makes asset dedication different. Is we're almost a fintech firm. So we built out a lot of proprietary technology to do the things that we do. And when you get robots involved, when you have AI bots involved, they don't fat finger, right?
Yeah.
They don't make the human error. I mean, we still have traders that are overseeing everything, but the way that we automate the processes makes their job so much easier. So all of the manual processes have gone away, and that's one of the things that we can do that helps lower our exposure and our risk for trade errors and things like that.
Wait, so this is going to be a fascinating topic because I actually want to do a whole episode on the impact of AI and how automation and workflows and removing manual tasks can actually lower risk, because I think there's a lot of noise out there right now about AI.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of noise where I hear like, oh, well, AI is hallucinating and it doesn't always work 100% of the time and it makes mistakes just like humans do.
Right.
But I think what AI has done, it's really allowed us to optimize the human side of the business.
Yes, absolutely.
So that a lot of the manual tasks, is so long as you have the right QC and QA measures in place to check, hey, is this making mistakes? Or do we have measures in place to lower that risk?
Yeah.
I would argue that AI has actually helped to lower risk, even though there's a perception online right now that, oh my gosh, it's this big bad wolf and no one knows, it's just uncertainty. I know, because I've been following all the chatter about AI and how people are scared of it. And I think a lot of that's manufactured in some regards. Are there risks? Of course there are. There's always going to be some risk when you're talking about AI and bots and automations and things.
Right.
Things can always go wrong with anything,
That's
just
right.
like humans.
Sure.
So what have you guys seen in terms of what's being innovated and what's happening in the AI space and how it's impacting your businesses?
Well, I can talk. I know you've got some things that you're doing as well.
Yeah.
On our side, I can say that I have a very broad definition of artificial intelligence, which goes much farther than the chat bots, right? The chat GPTs and the Claudes and those, they're really interesting and innovative and clever, and they go and scour the internet and they get things wrong all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
the Gen AI stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Like if you really know a subject and you go through and you ask ChatGPT or one of those, you'll find that it doesn't always get it right. But when you really narrow the scope, like so for us, a good example is we'll go and look at all of the positions and we'll have our system go and say, is there a tax loss right now? Yes or no? It's really great at determining that.
Yeah.
If yes, then go to the next criteria. Is the loss big enough for us to want to make a trade on it? Does it make sense? I mean, if it's a $2 loss, we don't want to do anything. If it's a $10,000 loss, let's take the loss. And if we take the loss, go and look at what this position is and tell me what the next position that we should trade into would be. It's really great at doing things like that. When you narrow its scope down and you say, this is your universe, this is all you need to know, tax loss, yes, no, then it does a great job at that. People can do that too, but the system can do it way faster.
Yeah.
We call ours Advisor Space. That's the name of our sort of overall system. And it's got all these little, so is it artificial intelligence? I say that it is. I have a very broad, it's really conditional logic. It's just looking at, is it this? Yes, no. And it's making all of these yes, no. And computers are great at yes, no.
Yep.
They're not so great at creativity and things like that. And that's why you see when they do the art, it's like a little creepy. But when you ask it to do a very narrow scope, it's really great at that.
And prompting is key, because I know from personal experience that here's the secret about AI, and I think this is the secret. It's getting really amazing, but it's only as good as the human inputs.
Sure.
So if you can prompt it really well, if
Yeah.
you can kind of quote train it really well,
Yep.
you're going to get better outputs.
Yep.
Because it's very clear.
Well, the other part of it is really understanding what parts it's good at and what it's not. So one of the things we're learning about AI is there's actually different classifications of AI in
Yes,
different
absolutely.
areas. So
Yeah.
when you're talking about that, because it is a form of intelligence when you have a decision tree.
Right.
And they're excellent at that for very specific decisions, but they're not good at understanding, if you
Right.
will.
Yeah.
So they've actually, they're starting.
So long as you have good data. I mean,
Well, if you've
data's
got
important.
Right.
this is making the assumption you do have good clean
Yeah.
data, and it's which is what you guys excel at
Yeah.
without
That's-
question.
We just hired another guy, and his job, he's our data czar, right? His
Yeah.
job is just to make sure that all the data comes down clean every day, which it already is pretty good, but there's days when it doesn't, and if it doesn't, we need someone to figure out right away how to make it so that it's clean.
Yeah. So using that in conjunction with the large language models and what can happen there, and understanding where it's strong and where it's not, that's the next area that people really need to get their hands around, in my opinion, is just understanding how these different types of intelligence can be applied to whatever you're doing. And I think the next big move for a lot of businesses is, as you start to figure that out, you're gonna have, because then you got Claude Code that can help you program. With the best programming language out there now is the English language,
Yep.
right? Because now you can talk into it and it can help you build the code like never before. I don't have to learn C++ anymore. Now, if I'm doing something very specific, I might
just
want to
dated
hire
yourself right
someone.
there.
I know,
Yeah.
but anyway. And also, anybody who's a programmer knows I'm not now. But anyway, what that does is that's going to allow small and medium-sized organizations to build the custom tools that you need or I need, which is some of the stuff that we're doing at Box Professional that's I'm excited about, and most of it I can't talk about it yet.
Right.
But
You can actually tease it a little bit too.
I'll tease it a little bit. The cool thing is the large language models, because you deal in math, numbers, we deal in words, contracts, and it means something, because when a claim comes down, it's all about the words.
100%.
And one or two words can change things. But because now we have a calculator for words, if you will.
That's a great term.
Yeah. So which is good for me because I'm decent at speaking, I'm horrible at writing. Okay. So we can now take and improve and read and start to understand quicker. Now it's like you still have to have a human in the loop and
Right.
make the final decision.
Yes.
Because we don't want to let the computers run amok.
Correct. I mean, and we've seen problems with that with some of the program trading.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see what caused this huge market meltdown? Well, because someone let their computer run amok.
Right.
And we make sure that we have the trader sitting in the middle, so that you have that human interface that says, okay, thanks for doing all that work really fast. Now let's make sure this makes sense and let's push it through. And let's have a person push that through, because that's still important to us.
Yeah. So the cool thing is we've taken, because we've seen over the last 10, 20 years where the program trading has made some errors.
Right.
It's caused, you would know this better than me, but it appears that it's caused some volatility that wasn't needed.
That wasn't necessary, absolutely. Yeah.
So same thing can happen with words. So what I'm excited about that's coming down, so this is the teaser, is coming down the road, is we have figured out a model to do the same thing with words. Now we need to take what we learned on the math side and make sure that it's not, that we put that structure in place for the guardrails in the model of the language. And if you just took your insurance contract and threw it into ChatGPT, which I don't recommend, but if you did and you ask it questions, it's going to be pretty smart. And it's going to come back with the correct answer about 80% of the time.
It's good. It's a B student.
Or less.
Fantastic.
It's a B student.
I would just
Excellent.
prefer to have an A student.
Correct.
And in my world, because this is severity claims, a B doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
I need you to be an A or an A
Right.
plus student
Right.
because we're talking of hundreds of thousands of dollars when a fiduciary claim comes up. So that's what's coming down the road is a model that gets our accuracy above human accuracy,
Wow.
which I'm super excited. We'll have more coming about that later.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of chatter about this online, and I'm jumping in and kind of giving my 2 cents. I think the value when you are well educated and you talk to enough people and you've built enough relationships and you have a pulse on what's going on in the market and you know what people are working on. Like even my coaches, I have a coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like, hey, the cool stuff that you're building, talk about it in public. Share it. Don't be afraid.
Boy, that's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard for an entrepreneur to do that.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is the amount of people that have reached out to me saying, wow, that is really cool what you're working on. Love to learn more.
Yeah.
How can that apply to my business? And so for me, it's been a really positive thing for new business and opening up new conversations with people that I maybe didn't before because I was so afraid of sharing. Like, I can't lift open the hood on this because I don't want my competitors to know about it. When in fact, the opposite happened.
Yeah.
I got more interest from people who are like, hey, we're not interested in building this thing, but we would like to partner with you and help us install this technology or install this innovation and see how it works for us.
Yep.
Which is, I think, what's really cool about innovation.
Yeah.
Well, we found there's always some low-hanging fruit. And one of the things I love about stretching yourself is you're going to find low-hanging fruit along the way. I think of it as like this. Going to the moon or going to Mars, is there a huge value to that? Maybe, maybe not. But what I know is what we learned as a nation in getting to the moon really helped America develop.
Because where would we be without Velcro?
That's right. There's a lot of other things. But yes,
turns
you're
out
right.
there are a few other
There's a few
inventions.
other
Yeah.
things. But anyway, so we found some low-hanging fruit, which is we're excited to really share. And it's super simple, right? Because it says, so you guys have the lion majority of the trade error risk. Your clients
But
are
we never
all right.
talk to the end client, or very rarely.
Very rarely.
Only if we're brought into the conversation.
Only if you're, and maybe that's appropriate sometimes, but it's
Right.
very
But
rare.
most of the time we're not talking to them, and so I don't have that side of the risk, right?
Right.
But I have all the trading risk.
The
Well, the most of it.
majority.
Most of it. Yeah, right,
So, I'm always thinking worst case
Yeah,
scenario.
right. Yeah.
But then there's a challenge here. So we have a few clients that we're in common and we're looking at it. I'm like, well, shoot, we need to restructure their contract because they have very little trade risk. They have some, and we don't want to ignore it,
Right.
but they have very little. So can we carve this out in a way where we reduce what their clients are paying from the trade risk side of it? Don't eliminate it, but right size it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, because they're still handling this other part of it, and vice versa,
Right.
right? And we do it right. What it does is it says, hey, if I'm working with Brent and his team and things are going good, not only am I getting really good service, I'm actually getting better coverage for less money.
I'm really excited about this.
And less risk.
And
Correct.
less risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a win-win-win all the way around,
Yeah, and I'm excited about it because before, the planner had a generic policy that's basically the same as my generic policy. But what we do is very different, and I love the fact that we are customizing and as you say, right-sizing the risks that I have versus the risks that they have, and net it reduces everyone's premium. But we get better coverage, and so I'm excited about that because I mean that suits how we think about the world anyway. As we're trying to engineer portfolios to plans, well, this is engineering the coverage to our specific businesses as opposed to generically, this is what RIAs get as insurance, and then we're carrying we're paying for some risks that we just really don't have,
Right.
And so are the planners.
That's right. That's
I
right.
actually have something to add to that. And here's where I think it's so cool is we also, as the insurance industry evolves, we have to educate underwriters on some of these new innovations and things. And it's great because I know you have a great relationship with underwriters and being able to tell them, hey, these are the cool things we're working on. These are the amazing companies we're partnering with. and it's all in the effort to benefit the client
That's right.
and help lower risk.
Right.
And I think that is a really cool part of it, because we're seeing how the insurance industry is innovating, not as quickly as we like, always, right?
Right.
But at least it's going on that upper trajectory.
Yep.
Where now the conversations around AI are happening and risk. Now the conversations about new innovations are happening in risk and its impact on risk. And we all know that the whole idea of insurance is basically you're just transferring risk from one entity to another in exchange for premium, right? So you're actually moving risk from here to here to here.
Right.
And if we can minimize or mitigate that risk, it makes businesses more valuable. It makes you lower risk in the marketplace, and everybody wins.
Yep.
And we're already I was really excited when we first started talking about this idea that you had, because it really does in terms of that risk transfer. It's like they've already transferred the risk.
Right.
So
Why pay for it twice?
So why pay for it twice? Right. Let's get everything dialed in to the specific kind of business that we're actually running.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, they're similar, and they're in the same general but we're not doing the financial planning,
Right.
and they're not doing the investment management.
Yeah.
And we work together on the clients that we work together with, which is in most cases, all of their clients are on our platform, and so we can greatly, and it gives us the opportunity to have discussions about, for the clients that aren't on our platform, maybe we can have, if the asset dedication investment strategy isn't right, but there is some strategy that they have that they think would work better for that client. Can we build that out and implement it using all of the tools that we have, and get even more off their plate and get even more risk off their plate?
That's right.
I have a question for you, Brent. My area of expertise is helping to transform an insurance agency or a producer who's building a book of business, transform them from a generalist to a category of one specialist. That's my area of expertise.
Yeah.
And then installing the systems to be able to scale that niche model. What is the value? What have you noticed the value in really working with specialists who know their trade, who know their craft inside and out? And what is the benefit for an RIA, for example, of working with a specialist in each of these different areas,
Right.
to help them become better businesses, lower their risk profile? I mean, what's the benefit do you see of working with a true industry niche specialist who is world-class at their trade?
Yeah. Well, and the good news is it's like not just what I've noticed, but what the industry experts have seen, is that if you want to be a real financial planner, you need to get a lot of things off your plate.
Yeah.
Because it's a labor intensive and a labor of love, right? But if you are really digging into a family's plan and what they want to do and when they want to do it and how they want to do it, and then start getting into the behavioral aspects of how do they feel about money, and it's deep conversations, and there's a lot of things that have to happen just to get that plan right. And so when they can, and I think it's not just sort of separating out and working with specialists, but working with specialists that are innovators. Because that's like when we started talking, it was just clear to me. It's like that's who I need to. Same is true with the compliance firms that I work with, right? Because I do the same thing, right? I work with a lot of I'm working with you. I work with compliance firms that get things off of my plate, and I want it to be an easy button.
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm looking for, is that easy button, because the things that I need to do in order to yes, we need compliance and it needs to be buttoned up. We need insurance, it needs to be buttoned up. And we're not big enough to hire a staff to do those specific things. So it still falls back on me. But if I have these experts that can leverage and scale for me, then I just need to do the last little piece, right? I need to just double check and make sure that it's correct and put it in the file, right?
Yeah, right.
And so there's plenty of evidence that suggests that particularly for financial planning firms, that is the ones that are really successful and grow. They can't be doing all of these things because it's just too much.
They can't be everything to everybody.
No.
It's just too much. But if you can hunker down and specialize in,
Yeah.
hey, I solve this problem
Yeah.
for this type of person, and I do it better than anybody else, you automatically elevate yourself into a category of one.
And the interesting thing is that, and financial planners are great. They're people. They really want to help people, and they don't.
Yeah.
They're not generally not thinking from the marketing perspective.
Yeah.
They're just wanting to help people. But the nice side benefit of when they get really good at servicing a particular niche is that those people will make referrals for them, and they'll get the referrals, and it was just sort of accidental marketing,
Yeah.
right? Because they got really good at working with these people. Those people talk to their friends who look a lot like them, and
They're in the same. They're like in the same world.
Right.
They're in the same network and the same community, the same relationships.
and then you become that area expert, and everyone knows it.
Wow. Well,
And-
thank you for the
yeah.
plug, because obviously, no, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Obviously, you validated what I believe in and what I'm really passionate about. And I love what you said. It's the heart. It's wanting to serve.
Yeah.
That I have noticed in the financial community in general. That is by far the number one thing, is that they just have the heart of serving people and helping people and just loving what they do.
Yeah.
So, Chad, would you agree that Brent's an expert, a specialist?
Oh, without a
What he
doubt.
does?
Without a doubt. When you're looking at, the portfolios that are being built, and it's not scaled from the sense of, oh, we're going to have all these different models and you just plug and play.
Just pick one, right?
You're scaling it with the intention of the specific account that's designed for that specific client.
Right.
Now you have to have that interface, the financial plan
Right.
that's done a really good job,
Yep.
and then you can come back in and it elevates the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that specialty of what you do really good at, and those advisors that's where their heart is that connecting with the client, help them elevate their life, and they need more time in their day. Well, you've built that time machine that you can do it,
Yeah.
meaning you're bringing time back to that advisor so they can spend time at what they love to do.
Yeah. Speaking
Now-
of time machine,
Yeah.
I have that's a great segue.
Okay.
I think I can say put a bow on this one and say that
Yeah.
we all three of us here standing here all have that heart of wanting to serve
Yep.
and wanting to be world class at what we do and helping to make businesses better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I certainly feel that way, Brent. I got that feeling
Yeah.
from you. We just met today.
I mean, I want to see financial planning, comprehensive financial planning. I want to see that rule the financial services space.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
much harder to do, and it's lower margin. The big financial services companies don't understand it. The giant brokers, the wirehouses, they don't get it. Right? It's delivered at a very personal level because it's a very personal discussion,
Yeah.
and they just don't understand it because they're looking at it from a different. It's kind of like in Indiana Jones when they have the wrong amulet and they're just digging in the wrong
Man,
place.
Now you're really talking. That's my language right there.
But they're looking in the wrong place, right? And so they're looking at it from products and from how can we generate fees, and financial planners aren't looking at it that way. They're looking
Right.
at what do you need, how can I help you, and the fees just sort of happen on the back end.
Yeah.
But it's real, and they spend so much time really getting to know, and that's where and we can't do what we do without a comprehensive financial plan.
Right.
So most money managers, most TAMPs that do what we do, or most of our competitors, you can ask someone a 5-question questionnaire about how they feel about market volatility, and they can shove you into a portfolio. And for us, you have to answer a whole bunch of questions, right?
Yeah.
We can do that really simple one. Sure, that's easy to do. The hard part is when you have this real complexity and you want to be able to deliver it at the account level. Unless you've done that planning work, you don't know what it is, and you can't answer the questions, which is that's why we only work with financial planners, because that labor of love is their output, and then we give them a place to sort of engineer it into the investments.
I call that sort of that commoditized generalist mindset and community, which is what you were.
Yeah,
what I'm
which is the
hearing you
vast
say.
majority of financial services, unfortunately.
And then what you're talking about is truly that labor of love, that specialist, that technician, that person who's just going to dig in and just help and just has a love of helping people.
Right.
So I heard the applause.
Yeah. Oh
in the
yeah.
other room,
Right.
and I know you're probably itching to. We're gonna. How about we do this? We continue this conversation, but I want to ask my favorite question.
Yeah.
Or do you want to ask it?
No,
It's up to you.
go for it.
All right, I'm going to ask
Okay.
it. We always finish our show
All right.
with my favorite question.
Uh-oh.
Our favorite question.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Which is,
Yeah, and you don't know this.
I know. Uh-oh.
it's always a surprise, and I never like to tell anybody because I want it to be just like natural and
Okay.
just whatever comes here
All right.
in your heart. I want you to imagine for a minute
Okay.
that you are retired, you sold your business, or whatever happened, you transitioned it,
Yep.
and you're kind of thinking back, you're reflecting back on your life and your career. What does Brent want people to remember him most by? What do you want your legacy to be?
So I wanted to be the reason that we started this business. So, and it's actually in like the first chapter in this book, we talk about it, which was my business partner, the other co-founder is the professor, Steve Huxley. And we talk about his mother-in-law, and she'd been widowed and she needed some help. And she needed help figuring out what investments worked for what she was trying to do. And that's what started us down the sort of the academic research that sits underneath what we do. And we want to help all the Grandma Bettys. Like, we want to help, and I want to look back and say, like, we did that. And that's what's driven us. It's like we keep our fees intentionally low, and we do that because we know that our fee is competing with Grandma Betty's ability to retire, right? And so we're not, I mean, yes, we want to get paid for what we do, but we want to try and figure out how we can scale everything so that we can keep our fees low, so that Grandma Betty has more money left over so that she can do the things. And so and to expand that out to just to families in general as they move into and through retirement. We just want them to be able to do we want to help increase their opportunity to do the things they want to do. Maybe they can't do everything that they want to do, but we want them to be able to do as much as they want to do so that when they are asked that same question, they look back and they go, I was able to help my kids, through college, or pay for that wedding, or go on that vacation and do those things that they wanted to do. And we want to be able to support that.
Yeah.
And then sort of secondarily, what came along after that is we realized it's the financial planners that are delivering that. And so we want to be able to support them in their business. That's when we first started, we were just the investment side. We didn't have all of the other support that we have. And we realized we can scale it because we have all the information. We can do that. Let's make it so that we can take some pressure off of their business so that, again, they can answer the same question in the same way. And they can look back and say all the clients that they've helped achieve what they want to do. And that's the beauty of working with financial planners too.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what they want to do. They want to help the people. They don't care about the corner office and the big Benz, right? Maybe some of them get that, but that's not what's their driving factor. Their driving factor is to help the people that come into their office. And so we want to help the people that come into their office.
You want to be part. You want to be part of that journey. And
Yeah.
and what did you say, Aunt Betty or
Grandma Betty? Yeah.
Grandma Betty.
Yeah.
You want to help the Grandma Bettys
Yeah.
of the world and
Yeah.
have those people look back and say, "Wow, because of the stuff that you guys did." I call it the ripple effect.
Yeah.
Where you drop the pebble in the water and it just has that ripple effect, and it's an amazing how you can be a part of transforming people's lives. And I think that's the coolest part. So as we landed the plane just now,
And I gotta say,
we're gonna have a second. Okay, I'll let you.
I just gotta say, thank you. We're
Yeah.
honored to help the Grandma Bettys.
It's
Yes.
great. I love the partnership because
So
I
it's so
love
cool.
the excitement, enthusiasm. It suits what we do. It suits
Yeah.
where we're coming from. It's a great fit.
Thank you. We're honored at
Yeah.
Box Professional. Absolutely.
I'm honored. This has been this is the greatest surprise that we could have had today. An opportunity to really get to know you on a real personal level and in your business. I love this.
And in person.
And
Right.
in person.
Right.
And by the way, we've never done this before, so who knows
Here we
how it's
are,
going to turn
live
out.
at NAPFA,
We're
right? This is
live
like-
at NAPFA
yeah.
in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital.
There we
it's
go.
amazing. So, Brent, how can people find out more about you? If they want to reach out, what's the best way to reach you?
So there's sort of two channels, right? So if they're end investor, right? If they're just what we would call a client, right? We don't work directly with them. So, but we can connect them with financial planners all across the country, right? So we're in 47 states. So we've got somebody somewhere that can help them. And so they can still reach out to us directly. They can send an email to info@assetdedication.com, and that'll get routed, and we'll sort of connect them with whoever is appropriate. If they're a financial planner, comprehensive financial planner in the RIA space, then they can just reach out. They can use that same email, but and then they'll connect with us, and we'll just walk them through. Asset dedication is kind of like a fire hose. I mean, because we think differently, there's a lot that you have to take in. But the cool thing for us is what we've built. So many of the planners go, "Where have you been all my life?"
Right.
That's how I've been thinking. It's what we wanted to do, but there wasn't anybody that delivered service in that way. And so we've tried to build that out. And so, particularly if they're wanting to get out from underneath the investments. It's like the investments have to happen, but they don't have to do them.
Yeah. Awesome. So, any final words, Chad?
I'm good.
I think we are extremely grateful and honored to have you on
Thanks.
today. And this was truly a treat. Again, you knocked it out of the park.
Team effort.
Team effort.
I am excited about the team effort. What we have cooking, what you've got cooking,
so cool.
just to tease that a little bit. But
Yeah.
I think it's really great, and particularly for the firms that we share in common,
Absolutely.
it's going to be some really great opportunities,
Yeah.
and just to get things better aligned.
Yep.
Guys, this is why you go to conferences. Okay? I'm just sharing with you, this is relationships. This is the most important piece of business, is meeting people in person. And I came down here this morning. I was here yesterday with you, Chad.
Yep.
And that is a story in and of itself. But Chad and I have been working together for almost 2 years now.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And we had never met in person.
Until now. Yeah.
And when I found out he was coming into DC, I'm like, I'm there. Right?
Well, thanks for coming up.
And here it is. Here we are. This has been amazing. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today on the Advisor's Edge podcast, and look forward to the next episode where I'm sure we have another amazing guest.
Oh, we got some
Who's
great
next
guests.
on tap, by the way?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. I'll have to double check. I've been so focused on our clients while we're here.
Let's just say it's going to be really
Yeah, you've been going nonstop.
I know.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Who knows? We might pick somebody up here today and do
There we
another
go.
interview.
Yeah.
And,
That would be
and they'll
awesome.
be on deck. So-
There's a few exciting clients around.
Yeah.
I'm always shocked when they're like, "Oh, it's so good to see you." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Almost exciting as
I
bonds.
will say that has been, I'll like I was talking to Alex, and people would come up and say like, "Hey," or they kind of like you guys, they'd never met in person,
Right.
And then they go, "Boss, wait, you're Alex?" Okay,
Right, right. Yeah, it's good.
So yeah.
And by the way,
great.
this is the advantage of doing video. So if you guys are creating content, this is a perfect opportunity. I don't see a lot of cameras and audios
Right.
around.
Ooh, I got a client doing a breakout session. I got to run.
Okay, we'll tune in next time. Thanks for joining us, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, awesome, dude.